Alright, got love Turks. I said I was gonna get to that Second Amendment from this book, lit America Under Attack, but I forgot a spot that needs to be read. So we're gonna read this because it adds up, guys. It all adds up, leads up to something, okay? So don't trust me, but just listen, Judge for yourself. Okay, judge for yourself, alright? In the State of the Union address in February executive orders. In the State of the Union address in February 2013, President Obama said this: I urge this Congress to pursue a bipartisan, market-based solution to climate change. But if Congress won't act soon to protect future generations, I will direct my cabinet to come up with executive actions we can take now and into the future. The President is taking these types of actions with greater and greater frequency. Here's what the Washington Post wrote just a couple days before the President's address. President Obama is considering a series of new executive actions aimed at working around the recalcitrant Congress, including policies that could allow struggling homeowners to refinance their mortgages, provide new protection for gays and lesbians, make buildings more energy efficient, and tougher regulations for coal-fueled power plants, according to people outside the White House involved in discussions on the issues. The moves underscores Obama's increasingly aggressive use of executive authority, including 23 administrative actions on gun violence last month and previous orders that delayed deportations of young illegal immigrants and will lower student loan payments. These and other potential actions suggest that Obama is likely to rely heavily on executive powers to set domestic policy in his second term. People's minds are getting conditioned to executive orders. Repeat. People's minds are getting conditioned to executive orders. People's minds are getting conditioned to executive orders, which are primarily intended to circumvent Congress and the Constitution. That is the aim. That is the aim. That is the aim. Gotta re-hypnotize sometimes, you guys. Don't listen to those Angelo John Gages or anything on that damn news, man. Something's crazy about that. But this is free magazine, so whatever. They're giving it free. Anyone else offering free stuff like that with truth in it? No. Speaking out? No. President Obama's use of drones has come under circumcision. President Obama's use of drones has come under criticism because it is also expanding his grip on power. First, he has launched 5 times more drone strikes than President Bush did, and in half the time. But critics are especially concerned that, according to a 16-page document the Department of Justice leaked to NBC, the administration believes it is above the law and has power to kill any American citizen it considers a threat. Here's what Judge Andrew Napolitano wrote in the Washington Times. Mr. Obama has argued that he can kill Americans whose deaths he believes will keep us all safe without any due process whatsoever. No law authorizes that. His Attorney General has argued that the President's careful consideration of each target, and the narrow use of deadly force are an adequate constitutional substitute for due process. No court has ever approved that. February 7, 2013. Napoleano points out that this practice breaks state and federal laws. Hear that? He broke the law. Executive orders prohibiting assassinations. Language in the Declaration of Independence and Constitution. So you get pissed off, start getting pissed off at me teaching the truth, come at me with a drone. You have no right to do that. You can't do assassinations on a citizen. Perhaps many or even most of the people being targeted in these attacks are threats to the United States, but I am deeply troubled by an administration so disdainful of the law that it is supposed to uphold. This trend toward lawlessness is deadly, and I guarantee, based on biblical prophecy, that it is going to get far worse. Now we're going to skip back over to our Second Amendment one. Okay, because I didn't get to that page on accident. But we're skipping around for a reason, because this is for the young Turks that don't know any better, okay? The reason for the Second Amendment. Look at the way the administration is handling gun control debate in America today. December 14, 2012, a young man named Adam Lanza killed 26 to 7-year-old children. He had some serious mental problems. He almost looked like a young girl. His parents were divorced. He was living with his mom, and his father wasn't around. Nearly every time a tragedy like this happens, there is a dysfunctional family in the background. Something is wrong with our families. Yet, what is the solution, according to the politicians in the media? Ban the guns. The radical left wants to take away people's guns, at least the guns of law-abiding people. The criminals are not about to give up their guns. Hear that, you dumb Turks? After the football player Jovan Belcher killed his girlfriend and then himself, Bob Costas said on an NFL broadcast on NBC that this wouldn't have happened if Belcher hadn't had a gun. A linebacker is big enough that he could have killed her without a weapon. But they're going after guns. So guns kill people, remember, not people. People don't kill people, right? I'm told that NBC has some of the bloodiest movies on television, yet they're trying to tell Americans to get rid of the guns. Why don't we start with getting rid of the bloody television programs? Is it possible that's a bigger problem? The Second Amendment in the U.S. protects the people's right to bear arms, but for what? If you listen to the left, you'd never know. To hear them talk about it, its purpose is so Americans can go out and shoot deer. That isn't reason for the Second Amendment at all. The main point was to protect the citizens from government tyranny. The government might decide to take over, and if you don't have guns or something to defend yourself, what are you going to do? Unless you have God's protection. Why won't the radical liberals mention that? That is the real world that our founding fathers came out of. That is the real world today. But the liberals won't even mention that. Oh, please, they say. You know that could never happen. But government tyranny is routine in human history, and they know it. Why are they so deceitful? It is because they have an ulterior motive, young Turks. Let's not be naive and think something like that could never happen here. Our forefathers weren't stupid. They wanted to guarantee Americans freedom. They really knew that God was a God of freedom. He wants us to be free. That's a gift from God, and they understand that. Do you remember how we gained our freedoms? A lot of people bled, and a lot of people died to give us the freedoms we have today, and they wouldn't have gotten it without guns unless God just gave it to them. Hear that? Unless God just gave it to them, we wouldn't have had it without guns. I wonder how many Americans ever know that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. Oh, we went over this earlier, huh? Philadelphia Church of God is they're on point on a lot of stuff, aren't they? Seems to be. Let's continue. I wonder how many Americans even know that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. It is similar to how the Ten Commandments is the supreme law of God's church and the foundation of the entire Bible. It works beautifully if you just apply it. Okay? More executive actions. In 1938, just before World War II, Hitler made the executive order. Jews are prohibited from acquiring, possessing, and carrying firearms and ammunition, as well as truncheons and stabbing weapons. Those now possessing weapons and ammunition are at once to turn them over to the local police and authority. Whoever willfully or negligently violates the provisions will be punished with imprisonment and fine. This regulation is valid in the state of Austria and in Sudeten German districts. He added Sudeten because Germany had already been given that land by Britain, and the Czechs had to go along with it. Britain and France felt this concession would bring peace. When Neville Chamberlain returned from negotiations with Hitler proclaiming peace in our time, the public went almost hysterical with happiness. But we know what happened. There wasn't any hope this would bring peace, but the people wanted it so badly. This is true today. The devil's always trying to negotiate, but what he wants is total surrender. On January 16, 2013, President Obama signed 23 executive actions on gun control and then urged Congress to pass even stricter gun laws. When he signed those orders, he surrounded himself with little children who had written letters to him asking, "Mr. President, would you please do something about the violence in schools?" Who wants to debate with him when he has little children all around him? The president is so eager to restrict guns, but what is he doing to stop drug cartels making inroads into America? What about stopping the drug wars between gangs in America's big cities? What success has he had in stopping Chicago, his hometown, from becoming the murder capital of the world? I am sickened by what Adam Lanza did. Pause. If that's not fake, phony, or set up, or it really happened to people, I don't know. We don't know. But the point is, that's how it goes down in history. Like keep truth in them say. You know, that's how it goes down in history, even if it didn't happen. That's the way they're going to write it. That's the story they're keeping. They're sticking with it. I am sickened by what Adam Lanza did, but what makes me sicker is somebody using the massacre to promote a political ideology. Maybe they realize something. They're just not going to go there because they don't have the proof. I think those 23 executive orders are just about getting around the Constitution and conditioning the minds of the people to accept the president saying, "Don't worry about the supreme law of the land. Listen to me," just like Antiochus did. Ignoring the Constitution. Alright, stopping there, guys. America under attack. I don't think I'm going to use it anymore. I might do one more with it.